G'day everyone, today we're going to have a look at a game called SOLDAT 2, which is a game that's just released in early access. SOLDAT 2 is a sequel to a game called SOLDAT, funnily enough, and this is a game that I'd never heard of, but it's got a bit of a cult following online, and I think there's going to be a lot of people who are excited about the prospect at having a sequel. For those who don't know what SOLDAT is, it's basically a 2D style shooter, or 2.5D now with the sequel, and it's sort of a cross between Worms meets Call of Duty. There are a number of different game modes you can play, but the basic premise is you shoot the other people and you try to shoot them as much as possible. The gameplay of SOLDAT is pretty straightforward. You move with the WASD keys and you aim and shoot with your mouse. The game is fast paced and high energy, and it's the sort of game you can just jump into and get that adrenaline hit straight away. There are definitely a lot of nuances to the movement that I didn't pick up as a beginner. The game does give you some tips and tricks to some of the more advanced movements, but I can see that it's going to take a long time to really develop the skills needed to move quickly and well in this game, and I think there's going to be a big difference between a good SOLDAT player and a pretty average one. There's a number of different guns to choose from shotguns to machine guns to grenade launchers, and each have their own mechanics and different play styles. Some of these will be familiar to old SOLDAT players and some are new. There's quite a bit of choice as far as the maps go, including some randomly generated maps, so there should be plenty to keep people interested. Not every map is available in every game mode, however, and some of the game modes do feel a little bit sparse. There are 5 different game modes you can play at the moment, all revolving around the similar theme of shooting people but with slightly different play. The first is Capture the Bases, where you need to capture and hold points on the map, and the team with the most bases at the end of the time wins the match. There's also Capture the Flag, just like every other stock standard Capture the Flag you've played, where you need to pick up an enemy's flag and bring it back to your own. There's a deathmatch style game where it's every person for themselves, and when I was playing with the bots, this was quite chaotic. I would love to have a game like this with other people. There's a mode called One Man Army, which is sort of like the single player part of the game. You progress through a map and have to kill different waves of enemies as you go. I didn't get the whole way through this because when I was playing, I got to a point where one of the bots couldn't reach me and I couldn't progress any further. So I'm not really sure how this ends, but there could be a lot of potential for sort of single player campaign style missions in this format. And of course, it's 2020, so there needs to be a Battle Royale included as well. It goes by the name Rapid Royale. This game is similar to the Deathmatch in that it's every person for themselves, however you have this sort of wall that encroaches on you and pushes everyone towards the middle. And I can imagine this being a lot of fun as well. I've got to admit, as far as the graphics go, I mucked this up a little bit in this video, because I didn't realize when I played and recorded all this footage that the graphics were actually set on their absolute lowest level. The graphics do look better when they're cranked up to maximum. That's no doubt about that. The gunfire looks better, the terrain looks better, and it does give an overall better visual experience. I did notice, however, that the frame rates dropped quite significantly when I had my graphics turned all the way to maximum. And this sort of surprised me because I generally don't have any problems running games at 4K, high settings and getting 60 frames a second, so there must be a little bit more optimization needed to get this running smoothly. All that being said, you don't really care about the graphics in a game like this. At least I don't really care about the graphics. It's more about the gameplay itself, and I'm happy for the graphics to be a bit more basic if it means that I'm just going to have a fun time. One thing I will say is that I really love the sounds in the game at the moment. The screams of pain are hilarious, the gunfire is good, and the intro music when you open the game up just makes you want to kick ass. You do have a number of different options to customize the look of your character, from the color of their clothes to the hairstyle, and although the graphics are pretty basic, it is nice having this little level of customization. This is something that could be easily added to over time, and it is sort of fun to see how different people put together their characters, and it was something that I spent a few minutes on, and I enjoyed the experience of being able to make my character look unique in his hot pink camo. You can build custom maps, although when you go into this feature, the game does warn you it's only a preview. In its current state, it is a little bit clunky. I couldn't really wrap my head around what I was meant to be doing with the tools. I did get to be able to sort of create a bit of terrain and to place a few objects, but it wasn't super intuitive. I do love these sort of features though. I love that the community can create things and share things and you can build up your own sort of world. But I think a little bit of work needs to be done before this becomes a fully fledged feature. The game in its current state is quite buggy. I did notice quite a few things come up, some graphical glitches, some weird spots on the map that are sort of strange, and when I was playing online I did see a couple of people mentioning that they couldn't join the game or that they kept dropping out of the servers, though I didn't have any of those problems myself. Player base is a huge thing at the moment, and it's to be expected that there aren't too many people who are playing the game on release day for an early access title, but the only online game that I could actually get into with people was a Canadian server, and the ping was atrocious. It made it really hard to hit shots, though I do suck anyway, but the ping didn't help. I did manage to find an Australian game at one stage where we could play. I was playing some sort of 3v3s, 4v4s with some other people, and that definitely felt a lot better. And I felt like I had more of a grasp of the combat when I was playing with a relatively good ping. But this is mostly a multiplayer game. You know, people don't buy these sort of games to play against bots. So it is going to be really important that the player base expands, and it's going to be important that when you log on, you can actually play the mode that you want to play against real people, because when you're playing against bots, it gets pretty old pretty quickly. Overall, I would say that I enjoyed SOLDAT 2. I liked the combat and I definitely had fun playing it, but it's sort of expensive. It would cost me about 20 Australian dollars to buy, and it's pretty basic for the 20 bucks. I really want to love SOLDAT, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. That being said, I didn't play SOLDAT when I was younger, so it's not got that special place in my heart like it does for a lot of other people. So maybe everything that's there will be enough for those people who have played SOLDAT before and are looking for something to sort of fill that hole. A big part of the reason why you buy early access games isn't necessarily because they're in the perfect state when they come out, but you believe in the potential of the game and you want to support it. If you were a fan of SOLDAT back in the day and you've always wanted to see an updated version of that, then I'm sure your $20 will go a long way to helping the developers achieve this, and you can think of it more as an investment. I'll definitely be coming back to it in a few days' time and seeing if there's a few more people playing the game, particularly in the game modes that I didn't get a chance to play today. But it's a bit of a stretch, I think, to ask for $20 for the game in this state. And so I think really it's probably the die-hard SOLDAT fans that'll be getting the most out of it at the moment, to relive a bit of that nostalgia. But for the average Joe like myself, maybe wait until it's progressed a little bit before you go and pick up the game. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it and that you got something for it. And if you pick up SOLDAT 2, enjoy the game. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Catch ya.